What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex Yu and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. In this video, I want to talk about The Rocketeer. Have you guys ever heard of The Rocketeer? Some of you guys might remember watching it before a long time ago, and some of you are probably hearing about it for the first time. The Rocketeer is a movie that came out in 1991, based off a comic book of the same name, and it's from Disney Studios, and it's about a guy named Cliff who finds this rocket pack, and with the help of his friend, he's able to put it on his backpack, puts a mask on, and then he goes around fighting Nazis, rescuing the girl, and in the end saving the day. In a nutshell, that's what the movie's about. It had an all-star cast which included Jennifer Connelly, Terry O'Quinn, Timothy Dalton, and Alan Arkin. I haven't really heard of Billy Campbell, but he plays the protagonist in the film, Cliff, also known as The Rocketeer. So this movie came out in 1991, and it drew in $41 million at the domestic box office. When I watched it, I thought it was a pretty forgettable film. It was just average. It got me really excited in the trailers, and when I watched it, I felt that watching it once was good enough. And it's kind of like Dick Tracy meets Captain America, because you got the feel of that whole Dick Tracy era and the patriotism of Captain America. This movie is directed by Joe Johnston, who actually directed Captain America. So I think that the studios took into consideration that Joe Johnston had already directed another comic book movie with a super soldier fighting Nazis when they decided to let him direct Captain America. And the reason why I want to talk about The Rocketeer is that this movie is being remade. Disney felt that it's been a long time, 1991, well over 20 years, and it's time to bring this character back to the big screen. And how do I feel about this? Well, the original was pretty average, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to see it being remade with even better visual effects and really cool over-the-top action. With that being said, bring on the remake. The original one wasn't that great, so I'm happy to see them try again, because I think that the concept alone is actually pretty cool. All they have to do to make this movie good is follow the exact formula of Iron Man. And that's what it really is. Imagine Tony Stark without the armor and the weapon system. Like, imagine that his suit is not completely weaponized. It's just that he only has the ability to fly. That's what the Rocketeer really is. He has no superhuman abilities, and all he really has as a weapon is a Mauser pistol. I think it's a Mauser, but that's all he has. And the only thing that I hope they don't do is alter the costume. I really love the costume. It looks really retro. He's got this leather jacket, and he's got this really neat helmet that looks totally ghetto, and he just wears a pair of like khaki style pants. And of course there's the rocket pack, which I think kind of reminds me of the Iron Man Mark I, because it just looks so crude and not very sleek, but it works. The whole getup just works, and I really hope they don't mess up the costume, because I like the way the costume looked. The movie itself, the original, wasn't that great, but I love the way the costume looks. In fact, it made for a really good action figure, which I ended up buying at one point. So anyways, like I said before, I think they can make a great film. The concept itself is already there. All they gotta do is bring in a great story and a memorable character. And they definitely have to add in some bigger action, because I understand in 1991 they had their limitations, but now with all these superhero and comic book movies out, they provide some great examples of what this movie can look like. Especially when you're watching movies like Iron Man. I think The Rocketeer is kind of like Captain America and Iron Man combined into one, without the special abilities. And there you have it. What do you guys think about The Rocketeer being remade? Now, before you say something like, nah, forget the remake, watch the original, let's really think about it, because I know a lot of people are against remakes, but this is what Hollywood has come down to. We have to kind of embrace this, because a lot of the kids today have never even heard of this movie that came out in 1991 called The Rocketeer. So that version was not even a great movie to begin with. It might hold a special place in the hearts of some fans, but I really think that it's not that great. Let the remake be the one to watch, not the original. And of course, with Hollywood being completely dominated by Marvel and all other types of sci-fi fantasy movies, now is the right time to bring in another comic book movie. This is the craze that's going on right now, and it's going to be trending for many years to come. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about The Rocketeer being remade, and also let me know what you thought of the original film. You already know how I feel. What do you think of it? As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, and also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. But I think a lot of people scored this movie low because they had some pretty high expectations, and also they didn't understand the gimmick behind this movie.